Good evening, everyone. My name is Michelle Mandarin. I'm running for School Board District 5. As many of you may know, I did run for Superintendent of Schools back in 2024, and my journey started back in COVID. A lot of moms and citizens realized that something's not right within our schools. And so around that time, I started paying attention to school boards, not just in Pasco County, but nationally. And I looked at my husband and said, maybe we should start paying attention to our school board meetings. And so we did. We started watching them virtually at home, and then decided to attend our first school board meeting when DeSantis was trying to decide whether or not we were going to keep the mask mandate. So we were there to advocate to remove masks from our students, and that's where I met a bunch of moms. As a fellow mom with a 15-year-old in the school system and one on the way, thank you, I grabbed the passion for education, especially since, Flannery Sean mentioned that Common Core was a big issue, and that brings me back to a memory when my daughter brought Common Core math home from one of her worksheets. And I looked at her and said, Mama, we're not doing this. So I taught her how I learned math. I taught her how to do cursive. And I really think we need to go back to the basics when it comes to education. A lot of kids don't know how to read cursive. So that's a big danger, because that's how our founding documents were written in cursive. And I think that's a big factor in our schools. I am glad that we are going back to civics. As an immigrant from Uruguay, and I got my citizenship in 2022, I learned that through a bunch of leaderships and studying. I took the Leadership Institute. I took courses at Hillsdale, and through watching lots of podcasts, I learned that less than 5% of Americans know their first 5 amendment rights, and that's not good. So knowing that we are going through a civics program in our schools, I really want to be a part of that. I really want to incorporate or partner with Hillsdale College to bring civics into our schools and make sure our students know their rights, because that's the most important thing about being an American. Because if you don't know your rights, then what do you have? Let's see. I think that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Okay. So your question comes from the curriculum and concerns about indoctrination.
Okay.
How can parents be given greater transparency regarding classroom materials and instruction?
That is a good question, and I think that comes down to education. As a mom who was looking into our own school board meetings, I don't know if anyone here is aware of the social and emotional learning aspect that we had. They had benchmarks for teachers to teach their students how to use social and emotional learning. Well, when I looked at the benchmarks, there was touches of indoctrination in there. It talked about critical race theory and gender ideology, which I brought up to the board, and they were nice enough to remove it, and I brought it to their attention. But the point of my answer is that we need to educate our parents on what to look for when it comes to indoctrination. Because I will tell you right now, communists like to hide their ideology, and very subtly. I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was, or it doesn't matter. Someone said that it was actually Blaise and Goglia. They started changing the terms to hide DEI within our system, and I think we need to make sure we are vigilant about fighting it at all times. Thank you.